Sent us some questions that we would like to answer. Do you want me to say their names?
I don't think they would mind.
Okay.
Follow these people on Twitter, guys.
Yeah, follow these people on Twitter. Actually, this guy's Twitter name's cut off, but shout out to Ray Cottingham. He said, "When I left the hobby around 2004, I think I recall generally BGS 9.5 graded would sell for more than a PSA 10 graded. Now the opposite is true. What prompted this change and when did it occur?"
So that's a really good question because he's exactly right. BGS 9.5 graded stuff used to be more valuable than PSA 10. Part of the reason why, in my opinion at least, and I want to get your take to it on too, if you have an opinion on it, would be that PSA compared to Beckett put so much more money into marketing. PSA also is a publicly traded company. So, I mean, they're huge, man. They do so much stuff with non-sports cards as well. They're gigantic for Pokemon. They're almost exclusive for Pokemon stuff, which is, $1 billion,
industry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
multi-billion-dollar industry.
That's $1 billion market in itself.
So I think marketing is huge on it. I think another, more eyes on PSA, more people are going to want PSA graded stuff. I think the other reason is as simple and as stupid sounding as a 10 is better than a 9.5. When people see a
People like easy math.
Yeah, so if you're just getting into the market, the card market, if you see a BGS graded 9.5 versus a PSA 10, you don't know that Beckett generally grades harder. So a 9.5 is pretty much the same exact thing, or even sometimes better than a PSA 10 in terms of the condition of the card. They don't know that. All they see is, that's a 9.5, so it's going to be worth less than a 10. That's all they see. So, and part of the reason, too, is I think especially the last few years when you have noticed, or when we all have noticed a rise in people in the card community, all these brand new eyes, they haven't had the time and the experience to learn yet that BGS 9.5 might still be a better card, a better conditioned card, better corners, better surface centering, the whole 9 yards than a PSA 10.
Right.
So, I think eventually that card grading will be, I think robots will do it. I really do. Because there is so much on the line versus a PSA 10 versus a PSA 9.
Even between a 10 and a 9.5.
Yeah, so a BGS 9.5 might be, if it's a $1,000 card for PSA 10, it might be $900 or $850 for BGS 9.5. Maybe even less at that point, depending on the card context, depending on a bunch of stuff. But, just for example, I have a Luka Doncic PSA 10 card. It's about a $1,200 card right now. I have a Luka Doncic, same exact card, but it's a PSA 9. It's like a $450, $500 card. So, if I send my card to get graded, and I'm hoping for a 10, but I get a 9, I just lost out on $700+.
Right.
So it's so subjective because there are so many different graders. There's not just one. If there was one grader and he was looking at every individual card the same and grading it the same exact way, then that's one thing. But when there's hundreds of graders out there, all grading a little bit differently because there's so many biases out there, it's all subjective, that I don't think it's fair personally. If a card is in mint or gem mint condition, it better not, I better not get a grader who's having a bad day. It's just like, I'm going to give these guys a 9,
Yeah, maybe he scuffed his shoe on the way into work, his brand new shoes.
It's so subjective to the point where people are losing out on, if you combine every person in the card community, people in general are losing out on millions of dollars by getting a card that's graded a 9 and not a 10, and some of these are not, it's just unfair to me. I think, eventually, like I said, PSA and I think Beckett too, and all these other card companies that are a lot smaller, like SGC and stuff like that, will eventually turn into like an automated system. But I appreciate your question. Just for my real quick recap, and you can add something if you wanted to. I think part of it's because a 10 is just better than a 9. All these new collectors are seeing a 10, so they're like, oh, it's better. I'm going to bid on this on eBay because I'm new, and a 10 looks better than a 9.5. Yeah. And the other reason is because PSA did so well in marketing compared to Beckett, and with their publicly traded company and whatnot, they just pumped out marketing dollars into getting market share for non-sports card stuff that people are just looking to buy PSA stuff. The name's out there more.
It is.
It really
it's recognizable. You say PSA.
You know the red.
More
the red
people
logo.
recognize that.
You know it.
Exactly. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Just PSA really is at the forefront of like grading and whatnot, and when people see that PSA 10. They're like, obviously, like you said, 10 is better than a 9.5, but people don't know the difference. Gary V is bringing a bunch of new people. We'll talk about Gary V.
We're going to interview Gary V eventually, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit him up and be like, hey, you want to hop on the pod? So,
we'll talk about him later, but he's bringing a bunch of... what I call him the man of opportunity, or the man of hollow opportunities, rather, because he makes things look so easy to profit on. But then you get into it, you have to do so much learning and so much research.
Man, yeah,
so much learning, so much research, that all these new people are seeing, PSA is like at the forefront of grading. PSA must be the best grader. A PSA 10, obviously better than a Beckett 9.5. So it really is kind of a mix of PSA is at the forefront of the grading market, and there's a lot of new people coming into this booming industry.
Before we segue into the next question, I do want to mention, BGS, Beckett, they do have a 10, like a pristine black label 10.
Yeah.
They're extremely rare to come by. I've never gotten one. Whenever I've graded with Beckett, I have never once gotten a 10, and I hope I do one day, because a BGS 10 is worth like 3 or 4 times the same amount of a PSA 10. And they're so rare, a BGS 10, all these new people who are entering the hobby, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They don't see them every day.
They've probably never seen a BGS 10.
Yeah, so, it's one of those things where they just... they're so rare they don't see it. So,
exactly.
But if you didn't know, I on your tweet I do know that you mentioned that you're just getting back into the hobby, or you just relatively recently. If you do choose to grade with Beckett instead of PSA, know that you're probably not going to get a 10. But if you do get a 10, you just hit the lottery.
Yeah, pretty essentially, right. But yeah,
thanks for the question.
Next question. Techniques, this is rather some advice. Techniques on figuring out when your local Target / Walmart will get new cards in, and the conspiracy theories regarding said deliveries. Yeah. I've got to actually...
Who was this that asked? Does this have the name
This is Clifford's Cards.
Clifford's Cards. I appreciate
Follow him
your
on
question,
Twitter.
Man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, to start off, so it's a 2-part question really, but to start off with
the techniques
on figuring out when everything's going to be dropped off by the retailer. So if you didn't know, which I think a lot of people don't know, especially people who are just getting into the hobby, like retailers like Walmart and Target, they don't stock the sports cards. They have a third-party company come in and do it. So what a lot of people do is if they just notice that their cards are stocked or whatever, they may go and ask, let's say I'm at Walmart. Hey, what time does the card person generally come and stock the cards? They might not have any idea what you're talking about.
They probably won't have an idea because it is a third-party service.
But they might, though. So it doesn't hurt to ask. It really doesn't. So my recommendation to you to figure out when your cards are going to be stocked was to simply just ask, if you're at Walmart, Target, ask the employees, hey, I noticed that, certain days these cards are stocked. Do you have any idea which days those are? The other thing that I would do, and that you may or may not want to do this, I personally really like the addition that Target just implemented, Target just implemented, at least my local Target, it's different for other Targets.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
So go ahead and say your thing, and then I'll tell you a little story.
Okay, so from my experience, it might be local, but it might not be. Who knows? They put a limit on how many sports cards you can get. So, having a sports card company, Sun City Sports, it's so challenging to find sports cards at retailers. I never found one. From the start of COVID to literally up until like a couple weeks ago, I've been to Walmart, to Target, empty shelves. But just recently, my local Target, they put a limit on how many boxes you could get. So I'll go to Target, every couple days or something like that. I try to go a decent amount, just down the block. And now I'm actually starting to find stuff because
they're setting a limit.
They literally moved all of the sports cards that are like sought after. For example, right when Series 2 came out, they moved that. They moved 2020 Prism Chronicles. They moved Mosaic when Mosaic was huge. To the electronic section, because so the electronic employees who have to stay at the electronic cash register, they can watch over them and make sure nobody buys more than one.
Yeah.
So if you're not the person who's trying to buy, tons of stuff and then flipping them, and I'm not gonna say I hate people who do that. If you're gonna make money, make money.
Get your grind on.
But if you're the type of person who's just trying to rip packs because you like cards, then
it can be so frustrating to go to the card section and not find anything. So having that consumer limit in place, at least at our local San Diego Target, really helps. But they didn't start off by doing that. I was actually talking to another customer at Target while I was in line buying cards, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm so glad they're doing this. I was the one who actually suggested this."
Oh, no way.
So that's why I'm saying it might not be like a nationally recognized issue for Target.
Yeah.
But people at our local Target store brought it up to management and were like, "Hey, this is an issue. Can we do something about it?" So you can certainly do something like that.
Yeah, so that was what I was saying. So my second technique would just be to recommend, having them put a limit on them. And who knows, they might be already thinking about it because a lot of Targets are doing that right now. On social media, I've been seeing, tons of people are encountering this. And then, your recommendation might push them over the edge. You never know.
Yeah. Let's go into some conspiracy theories about this because I have a really funny one.
The vendors are selling them without putting them on the shelves. They are not putting them on the freaking shelves, okay?
So I had a friend who worked for Target when we were just starting this business. And, I was a complete noob, had no idea, when cards came in. So I texted him and I asked him, I was like, "Hey, do you happen to know when the card shipments come, the sports card shipments come? I'm just wondering, that would be really helpful." And he's like, "Yeah, next time I, go back to work, I'll check." Well, the day I texted him that, we had riots here in San Diego. And our local Target was closed, essentially, for a good number of days. Well, when it opened back up, he was not invited to come back to work. He was one of the very few employees who was not invited to come back to work, and he was laid off. Now, is this because I texted him and asked him? And I asked him, when do sports cards come into the store? Who knows?
God. This is a
conspiracy. But honestly, it is a very plausible explanation that these vendors are recognizing the profitability of the sports cards industry, and they're not stocking the shelves. They're just keeping them for themselves and flipping them.
Yeah, I've read from numerous different sources that from different cities all over the United States, it's gonna be different where you live, that the vendors will put all these boxes on the shelf where the cards are supposed to be. They take a photo that all the cards are on the shelves
as proof
send it, that's part of their job. They have to prove that they actually put it on there. At least some vendors have to do that, some may not. But the vendors that do have to do that, they'll take the photo and then just buy them all. Like literally, they're on the shelf for 5 seconds and the guy will just buy them all.
Yeah.
So that, like what Kurt was saying, they recognize that they could make hundreds and thousands of dollars by flipping these on eBay or wherever. So
yeah, I mean, just ridiculous. The sheer volume that they have access to, that's a lot of money that they could potentially make.
For example, an Optic basketball mega box sells for I think it's like $20 or $40 retail price.
Yeah.
I don't know because I've never seen them on the shelf, but it's somewhere $20 to $40, something like that. They sell for like $130 on eBay. So if you're dropping off 10 Optic mega boxes, which is not a ton, that's for a vendor for a whole retail store, that's not a ton. You just made $1,000.
Honestly.
Yeah. So it's ridiculous. The other thing too is that some vendors, from what I've read, from what people are saying on social media and whatnot, they're scared to buy them up themselves. So what they do is they will text a buddy of them, of theirs, and the buddy will come by and pick them up, and then the buddy will sell them, and then just give
the vendor.
Yeah, the vendor like a kickback or something. Yeah. So you never know. There's so many ways around it. I think the only way really is to limit the amount of cards.
That's the best way.
It really is. I think it's a great thing. When they started limiting stuff, I finally found some cards, and I'm not trying to buy 10 mega boxes of Mosaic or Chronicles or whatever and flip them on eBay. I'm trying to have some content for my YouTube channel. I'm trying
create a nice mixer.
Yeah. So I can, have some cool content. And believe me, we wouldn't be buying all of them anyways. We'd be buying, a couple like a normal person. It's ridiculous when people are clearing the entire shelves and whatnot. But yeah, so right when they started limiting them, I finally started finding stuff on shelves, and I am more than content with buying my 1 mega box of Chronicles or Mosaic or whatever, and going about my day.
So as far as technique, talk to people who work in the store.
Yeah.
They'll if they have any insight, if anyone has any insight, those are the people that are going to.
The other thing too, before we move on to the next question, if you talk to somebody at the store, they have no idea what's going on because more than likely, they're not going to know anything.
Yeah.
It's retail stores. Then what you can do to get your hands on a product, if purchasing hobby boxes online, which would be the next step, is too expensive because most hobby boxes are really expensive. You might not have $200, $300, $400, $500, to spend on a hobby box. You can order retail boxes online. It is going to be on a secondary market, but even better than that, I would recommend hopping into box breaks. Doesn't have to be from us. Obviously we sell them. I'm not trying to convince you to buy them from us. It could be from anybody. But that is an amazing way to get your hands on brand new product that just came out without having the unfortunate luck of driving to Walmart and Target 10 times a week and getting leaving empty-handed. So if you want these cards that are just coming out, you can't find them at your retail store, I would recommend buying them on Blowout Cards, Steel City, whatever, distributors, buy hobby boxes. If that's too expensive, hop into a break. Who knows, maybe we'll hit a really good team. Somebody
just won the Zion yesterday, and they paid $20, $200.
Yeah, so that could be you. Don't bank on it, but it does happen.
Yeah. Thank you, Clifford's Cards, for that question. All right, B-Rad on Twitter. Will Panini ever get MLB rights? No.
That's a really good question. So thank you, B-Rad. So personally, I love the looks of Panini baseball products.
Me too.
I really love the inserts, all the different numbered cards. I think they look sick. The only thing that would make them better is if they had the logos, obviously.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate that sometimes Panini products don't sell as well as Topps. I just hit a Gavin Lux rookie card auto in one of my breaks for the Dodgers owner, and that same card It's an identical rookie card. It just happens that one is a Panini product, but the Topps one, I hit a Topps one as well, rookie card a couple months back. The Topps one is worth like twice as much as the Panini. So it's kind of unfortunate that that happens. There's not really any way around it. But to answer your question, I think it's plausible that Panini could get MLB rights, but I don't think it'll happen anytime soon.
Well, we should probably explain why Panini doesn't have rights in the first place.
So MLB and Topps have an exclusive marketing deal. Topps pays MLB, I don't know the exact
X amount of dollars.
X amount of dollars to have this exclusivity, which not only is great marketing for Topps, but makes their stuff worth more, so more people are gonna want to buy into their stuff, buy their products. But yeah, so that is why. So the MLB just has that exclusive deal with them. It is obviously a monopoly, though. I think if Panini were to ever put in a bid that would rival Topps's bid, and obviously I don't have the inside knowledge about how much money is exchanging hands and whatnot. But if they were ever to do so, and the MLB was like, okay, if you're offering this much, I'll grant Panini access to these rights as well. That's the only really way I could see it happening is if the MLB makes more money off of it, because it's all about money at the end of the day. I wish I knew what kind of funds Topps sends MLB.
Yeah, and at the end of the day too, Topps solely is a baseball card maker. Right,
That's
Panini is a multi-sport.
Yeah, they do everything.
Yeah, a multi-sport card creator. So maybe they don't care to focus on MLB because their market share is so large.
I'm sure they would love to have it though.
Oh yeah, but their market share is so large in other sports. I'm sure it's not like a huge deal to them. But, who knows? Maybe in a couple of years when Panini, brings in more revenue from other sports, they could throw a bid that rivals Topps to MLB and be like, hey, we want a piece of this action too.
And this is all just, me
speculation.
Yeah, throwing smoke, or blowing smoke. But, maybe Topps is like, hey, MLB is like, hey, I love that Topps is just focusing on baseball. They can make a better product. They can have, pump out more product because Panini has so many other things going on. I'm going to be exclusive with Topps because, sure, I'm getting paid a lot of money. I also want Topps to have a good product because the more people like baseball cards, the more people are going to watch all these games and stuff, which then the MLB will make more money off of it, off all of these TV deals. So just speculation, but you never know. But in my opinion, will Panini ever get baseball rights? I'm gonna say yes. But asterisk. Not for 30 years.
Whoa, 30 years.
Okay, that's just a number that popped out of my head. But I don't think it's going to happen for a very, very long time. But I don't think Topps will keep the monopoly forever. I have no idea when Panini or, whatever, Upper Deck, whatever, will get some of these rights. I do think it will happen eventually, just not anytime soon.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, B-Rad, for that. All right, _PullKings_ on Instagram wants to know, what's more valuable, short prints, super short prints, or high and low numbered cards?
Well, that's a good question too. So part of the answer to that, is already inside of your question. So super short prints are always, without a doubt, going to be worth more than a short print, except for a very small handful of exceptions. One of which, if you like baseball cards, the Andrew McCutchen short print for the Phillies short print in Topps Series 2. It's the one where he has a cup in his hand. He's got the backwards hat or whatever with the do-rag with the gold chain all hanging out. And I think he's wearing sunglasses too.
Yeah.
It's an iconic short print card. People are loving that. It's worth $150 or something, when Topps Series 2 came out. That card is worth more than his super short print. So it depends a little bit on the art. It really does.
And also just how people receive it. It's very much market dictated as well.
But in almost all cases, super short prints are always going to be worse than short prints. I just wanted to mention that, not always, but almost always. In terms of comparing short prints to numbered cards, Numbered cards, you have to consider, they're short prints in themselves. If it's a card that's, out of 100, there's only 100 of those cards out there. That's, considered a short print. The tricky thing to find out this answer is that a lot of the times, Topps or Panini or whatever card it is, they don't say how many of the short prints or super short prints there are out there. Whereas they do say, obviously, how many of this exact card is out there if it's numbered. So if it's out of 100, there's only 100 of these out there. So it's a really good question to ask because it's super hard to compare. From my experience, super short prints are worth more than numbered cards. That's just from what I've seen on eBay, from what I've seen in my experience. And unless it's a super, small numbered card. So,
like a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, exactly. I hope you're staying with me here. It's a little confusing. But yeah, if it's out of 5, if it's out of 10, then they're going to be extremely comparable. If it's a numbered card out of like 150, 200, then I would say go with the super short print. There's a lot of context. It does depend on the player. It does depend if it's like a Topps product that has rights. It does depend if it's Panini Baseball that doesn't have rights. But to compare the two, if I just off the top of my head had to say, do I want this LeBron James super short print card or do I want a LeBron James numbered card? The answer would be, I don't know. What you do is you go onto eBay and you see what the prices are at and you do the research yourself. It's all about research, man. You got to be knowledgeable in this game to make money. It's honestly a great question because there's no answer to it. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Pull Kings. Lukey, Lukey Ann, 619. Oh, 619. You might be in San Diego. Last question. Is putting money in Star Stock worth it?
Star Stock. So, it's a really cool, website. So if you're not familiar with Star Stock, it's a lot like COMC. If you're not familiar with COMC, which you probably are if you like cards, Star Stock is newer. It's a place where you can buy and sell stuff, but it's more it's super fast. If I were to try to buy and sell a card on eBay, I have to buy the card on eBay, wait for them to ship me the card, wait 3, 4, 5+ days for USPS or whoever ships me the actual card. I then have to list that card onto eBay, wait till somebody buys it, and then ship out that card to get my funds. It takes a couple weeks. If you want to do it on a website like COMC or Star Stock. Yeah, my bad. There's Neil deGrasse Tyson does this piece on Star Talk, so I might mess up about that a couple more times. But Star Stock, excuse me. All you have to do is you make an account, you fund your account, you purchase the card, and instantly it's your card. You don't have to have that card shipped to you. You can opt to keep that card at this warehouse, and then you could relist that card right away, seconds after you bought it, and you could flip it. If it's almost like day trading. If you buy a Luis Robert card in the first inning for $20, if he hits a home run, more people are going to want to buy his card, so his card prices just went up to $25. If you sell it for $25, you just made $5 within, a couple innings or so. So, to answer your question, in my opinion, is it worth it to put in money? I'm not going to say to put in thousands of dollars. If you want to put in $50 and play with it, and see if if you can make any money, by all means do it. If you're good at it, if you notice a trend, hey, I'm making couple bucks on each transaction here, put in more money, buy more stuff, see if you can flip more stuff. I like Stock. I keep messing that up. I prefer COMC though. If you like Star Stock, then definitely check out COMC if you haven't used it. They're pretty much identical stuff. But to answer your question, is it worth it to put in money? I would say yeah. Try it out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm just gonna call you Luke. Thanks for the question. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name again. But yeah.
Is that everything?
I think that's everything, man.
Cool. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff talked or spoken about.
I don't
today,
even know how
so.
long we've been going, but man, am I hungry, and I can't wait to watch the Padres play.
Hey, what even time? Yeah, Padres played in half an hour, so we definitely won't have this posted to our YouTube channel before then. So I'm gonna guess Padres get the dub. We win 3-1. Did you call it right now? If I guess this,
All right.
you guys have to each send me Venmo me $1 or something, just because that's so epic. So, my guess: Padres win 3-1. If you're listening to this, and I think Tatis hits a home run too. All right, so I'm gonna call that.
My prediction is Padres win. I'm gonna say 6-4, because honestly, the D-backs, they're not like a bad hitting team. I feel like they could score.
They might. We'll see. I'm excited to watch.
I'm gonna say 6-4, but we win.
Hey, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But real quick to recap, I think I'll have this out before our next break ends. So currently, the break we're doing right now, we're doing a 2020 Panini Optic and Panini Prism Baseball Hobby Box break. We got 8 spots left. If you're interested in trying a break, head over to our website, suncitysportscars.com. Hop in one of those. Hopefully we'll hit you something good. And then, you can definitely watch it on our YouTube channel after that, because we always post the live streams. But other than that, I appreciate you guys listening. I know it's pretty long.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, I think we'll try to do a weekly thing or something like that.
Yeah, I would say so.
But yeah, sounds good. So thank you guys for listening. And do you have
Take care.
Do you have anything else? You're good?
No,
All right.
we're good.
Yeah, take care, guys. Stay safe out there.